Delighted to welcome onto the show for the first time. He's a huge fight coming up at UFC 218 in just a couple of weeks' time. Saturday week, to be precise. He goes up against Henry Cejudo in a big flyweight clash in Detroit. Sergio Pettis. Sergio, first of all, great to have you on the show for the first time. How's everything in Milwaukee, my friend?
Hey, man. Thank you guys for having me, man. I'm doing great out here in Milwaukee. Just cold weather, getting my body a little bit more sore than usual, but ready for next week.
Good stuff. Yeah, a card, as I said, we can't wait for. I think the mixed martial arts world is very much looking forward to the fight card. First of all, for you, you said in the last fight, obviously, that win against Brandon Moreno in Mexico City, that you had to polish up on a few things. What were you referring to in that fight, and how did you assess that fight? What were the areas you really want to polish up in?
I just want to polish up my all-around game. I gave up some takedowns. Gave up some low kicks, and to be a champion and to have that belt around my waist, I know these are things that I got to work on and address for when I do get to those fights like against Henry Cejudo. I cannot allow myself to give up these takedowns, take unnecessary damage, and going out there and just being an all-around mixed martial artist is exactly what I'm focused on right now. Not just being a striker, not just being a jiu-jitsu person, not just being a wrestler. Going out there and completely being a full mixed martial artist.
Was there certain areas that maybe, is there anything in particular you felt as though you let yourself down in that fight?
Yeah. I mean, I think the first round, I threw a lazy kick, and Moreno took advantage of that and got on my back right away and held me down for the whole 5 minutes of that round. And that's something I can't give up anymore, especially in the higher ranks and these higher level fighters. That's something that I have to address and be more aware of at the time, not going out there and filling out the process anymore, going out there and fighting right away, fighting the whole fight, which I had the gas tank to do, and I had the style to do that as well. And, I just got to address that, and which I have addressed. I addressed everything that I think I needed to work on for this fight.
Exactly. That's another thing as well I was going to ask you. You mentioned the gas tank. You went 5 rounds in that fight. Psychologically, is that a big step for you? Is that a big thing for you to know you have the gas tank to go all 5 rounds with the top level guys in the division?
Yeah. I mean, that definitely gave me a little bit more of a mental edge, I would say. Made me, like you said, it made me feel more comfortable out there. I can push it in for five rounds, and 3 rounds I could push the pace a lot more. So, I mean, that definitely gave me the confidence to go out there and test my, not only my skills, but test my cardio, test my mindset, and against Henry Cejudo, you guys will see all that.
Yeah, you've obviously had a couple of losses in the UFC, but you're 4 on the bounce now. You're right up there, and the winner of this fight, is probably looking at Demetrius Johnson next. Do you feel as though, looking back at those losses now, that it was a really good learning curve, and you've taken a lot from those couple of losses?
Yeah, man, I wouldn't change what happened to me in my career. Those 2 losses that I took, a submission, the TKO, they changed me, man. They really changed me. I didn't, sit back and, drown myself in the sorrow. I looked at my mistakes, and I had to change some things. I had to change my style and change my approach to the game, change my mindset to the game. So, as of now, man, I really couldn't see my career without those 2 losses. Those paved me to be a better man and a better fighter.
How have you gone about that? Because, you're a young guy, you're still learning, you're only 24 years of age. That's obviously been a major challenge. How have you dealt with the challenge of, changing your mindset?
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning of my career, I was just going through the motions. I was more excited to be in the UFC than to make some noise in the UFC and to make a name in the UFC. And now I'm at the age where, I put in the work for the sport. I've been doing this sport for 10 years plus, and I had to access the inner me. That might sound weird, but internally there was something in me that wanted to, wants the championship belt, wants to be in these fights, wants to go out here and have myself be able to be who I am on the highest platform of fighting.
Yeah. Do you think maybe, people are always going to compare you to your brother, but do you feel as though maybe there was a little bit of pressure about that as well early in your career? And, I feel as though you've definitely come out, maybe of his shadow a little bit in the last 4 or 5 fights. You've looked really, really good. Was there maybe a bit of expectation because Anthony was your brother?
Yeah, man. When I was younger, I definitely, that expectation and that added pressure. And at the time, I wasn't able to handle it. I let it crush me, and I had to find, like I said, an internal me that was different. I'm not Anthony Pettis. I'm myself. And I was trying to be like my brother, and I had to find my own way, my own path. And, you know, we all have different paths to success, and I'm slowly finding my way still. Still learning more about myself, learning more about the sport, learning about the mindset, the martial arts behind it. It's all coming together, and I'm in love with the process.
We know how good Henry Cejudo is as a wrestler. We've seen what he did in his last fight, a very impressive performance against Wilson Heiss. You've been working a lot with Izzy Martinez, yourself and your brother. Is that an area where you feel as though you need to obviously, maybe Anthony even said that he neglected his wrestling. Were you maybe doing the same thing a little bit as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, I understood wrestling to a certain extent. And when I started wrestling with Izzy and everybody at Montini High School, which is actually where I'm going right now, and everybody at Izzy Style School of Wrestling, I learned the correct way of wrestling, not just for wrestling, but for mixed martial arts. I had to go back to the core of wrestling and learn everything that I wasn't taught, the stance, the mindset, the grind, how to get out of certain positions, how not to give up on certain positions. And definitely, I mean, big shout out to Izzy Martinez, man. He definitely changed my wrestling perspective a lot. I used to kind of try to go away from the wrestling, maybe be more of a striker, more of a counter wrestling jiu-jitsu type of guy. And now I'm in here, and I'm not afraid of the wrestling, man. I feel like I can have what it takes to wrestle with some of the best guys up to par in mixed martial arts.
Were you impressed?
Maybe not in a straight wrestling match, but for mixed martial arts, yeah.
Definitely, man. Were you impressed with Henry's last performance? His stand-up seemed to improve tenfold. Obviously, you being a striking guy, he's predominantly known as a wrestler, but his striking did look really, really crisp against Wilson Heiss in that last fight.
Sorry, my brother's totally interrupting his interview right now. Anthony's calling me. Let me have this phone pass real quick. He kind of interrupted that.
Yeah, no worries.
I apologize.
No problem.
Yeah, man. Oh, he's good. All right, what was that question again?
Wilson Heiss, the performance Henry Cejudo put in that fight. Obviously, his stand-up looked really, really good in that fight. You obviously being a striker, were you impressed with his stand-up? That's probably the best we've seen his striking look.
Yeah, I was there front row watching that fight.
Yeah.
I was definitely impressed. He compared to his last fight with Benavidez, where he was a little bit more, I would think, more emotional, a little bit more sloppy, and you could tell that he's putting the time in his striking, man. His right hand's looking crispy. His stance is a lot different now. He's using more of a martial arts stance, and I think he's gonna try to strike with me for a little bit. Honestly, I think he's gonna try to strike with me for a little bit. Once I get the better of the exchanges, he's gonna go back to what he knows, and that's his wrestling, that Greco style. And I'm excited to see it, man. I'm excited to get tested with that striking. See what I could do to switch up his perspective on it and change maybe his style during the fight where he has to adjust and he's not able to.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit of vice versa. Maybe you use a little bit of your wrestling under Izzy and he uses some of the striking. It's a fascinating fight to look forward to. I want to get your thoughts. You haven't finished a fight in your UFC tenure. Is that something that's frustrating you? Because you are a striker. You like to stand on the feet. You like to look for the finish. That's obviously something you want, but has it been frustrating in that process, trying to get the finish?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely, I know all my fights lately have been going to a decision, and that's something, that I also need to work on as a fighter. And I believe my mindset is different now that will help that. And, the past is the past, man. I got to learn from those fights, and this is a brand new fight, a brand new challenge. And I don't know what it was, man. Since I was younger, I always had this stuff in my head that I was going to have a harder time in the beginning of my career, and the tougher the opponents get, the better I'm going to get. And I'm going to be able to start finishing these fights. And that's my whole perspective on it. Obviously I do go for the finish every time. I'm trying to hit these guys clean, but I'm also methodical. I'm very methodical. So I think once I, go out there and be loose, but have a controlled aggression, that's when I'll be able to completely shine the most and slowly approaching to that style. And I keep building up. And you guys are seeing it every fight. I'm getting better and better, more comfortable out there and more comfortable as an individual. I think that's what it is. I have to grow as a person and go out there and butterfly, man. Go out there and just be who I am. Just blossom. It's gonna be a good transition.
I think we've often spoke to Duke Rufus, your coach, on the show here, and he seems to have that mindset that it's about finding it within you. I think he's done it with Paul Felder, obviously a recent teammate of yours over his last two fights. Has Duke has sort of changed in the last number of years? He's brought guys in. It's more of an open camp than it was. Is Duke an integral part of your mindset and how you think going into fights? Because Paul Felder's said he's really helped him with the psychological game in order to release that and maybe look for the finish and find it within yourself to get that finish.
Yeah, me and Duke, we have a great relationship, man. We've been working together since I was 13, 14, and he's seen the way my mindset's changed. In the beginning of my career, I used to have a lot of doubt. I had a lot of doubt in myself. I don't know what it was. At the time in life, I wasn't comfortable who I was, and he's seen me, mature as an individual, and he's helping me pave my mindset as well. Every day, we're hitting these pads, and we're hitting different techniques, and not making it so strenuous on myself to go out there and perform. It's a blessing to be in that octagon, and I gotta start. And when I view it that way, I go out and have fun, and when I have fun, I'm focused and I'm deadly.
Yeah, it's great to see you mature. I definitely agree with your words there. Henry Cejudo, right? Are you a little bit worried maybe he's not going to show up? Has that crossed your mind going into this fight? Obviously, what happened the last time he pulled out quite late in Mexico City, Moreno stepped in. Are you sure he's definitely going to make it to fight night next Saturday?
Yeah, that's always an iffy thing. I don't want to put anything towards him or anything like that. But I think this fight he's going to show up, man. We after his last injury, we saw each other at the UFC Expo, and he was like, man, I feel like I owe you a fight. And I think he meant those words, and I think he's going to show up in Detroit, and he's going to try to fight me, man.
Yeah.
He wants the same goal as me, and we'll see who wants it more this time.
What do you think? I have to ask you this, obviously. TJ Dillashaw is talking about, potentially having a super fight with Demetrius Johnson. He spoke about it again yesterday on a radio show in the States, in Los Angeles. What are your thoughts on that situation? DJ going down to 120, or TJ going down to 125 to fight Demetrius Johnson?
We're in the business of entertainment. I can't knock the guy. Dillashaw, he's done an amazing job at 135, and if that's what's next for DJ, I guess we'll see what the higher powers up in the UFC say. As of right now, man, I'm working. Whatever happens after this fight, if they want me to get the title shot, I'm going to go for that. If they want me to fight again, I'm down for that too. I believe I'm in a stage in my career. I just want to stay busy, stay improving, and obviously it would suck not to get the title shot due to a super fight, but at the same time, I'm a fan of the sport, and I know how it is. People want to see that fight. They want to see DJ lose, and they want to see TJ win, or just have that fight in general. Those are two different weight classes. So, obviously, I have some bitterness towards it, but at the same time, I get it. It's entertainment.
Have the UFC said anything to you about obviously if you win this fight, you'll get a shot, or has there been any contact with the matchmakers or Dana White?
We really haven't talked anything about after that fight. I'm not really focused on that as of right now. As of right now, my main objective is Henry Cejudo.
Does it put more pressure on you to make a statement in order to get that title shot?
No, I don't think I don't put pressure on myself anymore, man. I used to do that a lot, and that's not who I am. It makes me hold back as a fighter and as an individual. Now I'm going with the flow of things, man. I'm happy in any situation I'm in. Obviously, it would be awesome to get a title shot after this, and I don't think it's added pressure. I think my style is so different that I would give DJ a good fight.
Definitely. It's a fight I'm very much looking forward to, and it obviously goes down next weekend. Sergio, listen, I really do appreciate you stopping by on the show this week. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Best of luck against Henry Cejudo at UFC 218. I do appreciate the time, my friend.
Hey, thank you for taking the time, guys. Appreciate it.